I'm Ashley Rose, sports reporter, producer, editor, and videographer. Someone once told me if you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life, exactly where I decided to choose a career in the sports field. Check out some of my favorite interviews, stand-ups, and features.
And Ashley Rose is a new analyst joining us on our SEC coverage, and there's some great women in the SEC as well, Ashley.
Absolutely. Well, let's start with the world leader in the 200 meters, Kyra Jefferson, the senior from Florida, running 22.72. But last night, Felicia Brown, the senior from Tennessee, she ran 1/100th of a second slower than that. That will be a battle today. They're both in the second heat of that 200 meter. Now, I promise you're not seeing the Weeks twins, the freshmen from Arkansas. The only way you can tell them apart, their height difference when they get to the pole vault. Lexi is number 5 in the nation, jumping 14.5 1/4. Her sister Tori, number 1 in the nation, jumping 15.1. Today you can tell them apart. They're wearing different hairdos. The defensive line will be filled with rotation this year, both Claiborne and Babineau filling in at that pass rusher spot along with rookie Vic Beasley. Both Hagman and Jackson actually partaking in UFC training in order to slim down in the offseason and be faster off the ball for that 4-3 scheme. Coach, the decision to go with the 50-yard field goal and what you thought would be the last offensive series in the first half, what was the reasoning behind that? Last year, both McEachern and Tucker kind of had a rocky start to their season. Tucker going 1-2, their worst start since 1999. McEachern going 0-2, and both teams losing in their 2014 Corky Kell Classic game.
There were 4 SEC meet records set over these 2 days. Ashley?
To the entire world, let me introduce you to the 200-meter world leader, Fee Brown from Tennessee, the senior, going in 22.81, going out 22.45. A world leader, an SEC indoor record, and a title. A lot of talk about the sophomore triple jump out of Georgia, Katora Orji, jumping 46 feet 2.5 inches, taking home the SEC meet record, the SEC title. Back to the good town of Athens. An absolutely beautiful day here at the Branch today, October 8th, as the Falcons continue their preparation for their weekend matchup against the Redskins. Competition is key when it comes to the game of football, especially when a team is 4-0. Coach Quinn told us today that they carry over the competition when they find the time to basketball and even Jeopardy! Welcome to the DraftKings Post-Fantasy Football Show with Shock and Rose. For those of you who are afraid of long-term commitments, this is the game for you. It's a one-week fantasy football game with no long-term commitment.
None.
After a sweep for the swim team in South Carolina and solid individual performances by the Divers in Tennessee, the Bulldogs are back in the water preparing for their first home meet of the new year against the Texas Longhorns. Ryan is 6 years old and was born with a congenital heart disease called pulmonary atresia.
What's up, dude?
Good.
Man, I'm excited you're here today. Let's get it.
Okay.
All right. How about
Okay, I can't.
Oh, we got you. There you go.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3.
Falcons!
And while Ryan will continue to cheer on the Falcons will do the same and continue to cheer on Ryan. The Raymond James Stadium in Tampa is ranked 2nd in the NFL for the best grass, ranked right behind the Cardinals. It's covered with Tifway 419 Bermuda grass, and today we asked Julio if he likes playing on real grass or fake. A fun fact for you, that type of Bermuda grass is actually born right here in Georgia, so while the Falcons will be playing on the road this weekend, they'll be playing on home turf. The Atlanta Falcons are the first team in NFL history to start 3-0 after trailing behind in the fourth quarter of each game. The Atlanta Falcons have been on the road for 2 weeks. They finally get to play their first home game on a Sunday at the Georgia Dome this weekend. Just to give you a closer look at how young this Creekview team is, there's only 10 seniors on the roster. And last season, both BJ Smith and Dawson Ewers had almost 900 yards at their respective positions. They've both since then graduated. Freshman Andy Davis at that wide receiver spot and sophomore Shane Rodman at running back. And they have the chance to fill that leadership role here tonight. Amazing stats both in the air and on the ground here tonight. Your final season opener as a senior, how do you feel like you did tonight? The Falcons are the only team in the NFC and one of 4 in the entire league that have a stretch of 3 consecutive road games, something that could be taxing on a team, especially when it comes to division play. But today we talked to Croy Bierman, and he said as long as you have your mind and body right, you're good to go.
Oh, she went with Julio again. Can you guys believe this?
I can do it. All right, well, I put in James Jones because Devontae Adams went out on Monday night's game with an ankle sprain. Randall Cobb was way too expensive, so I got James Jones in there. And then they're playing the 49ers, who got whooped by the Cardinals. The Cardinals defense, 4 interceptions, 2 returned for a touchdown. So the winning lineup will be this. 2 practices down, 2 to go for the Bulldogs as they prepare for their last regular season SEC opponent, the Auburn Tigers. We asked the seniors what they said would be key in practice this week. They said execution, playing Georgia football, and number 3. On this week's edition of Dog Sitting, we have Top Dog head coach Mark Richt. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
I'm glad to be here.
On AtlantaFalcons.com, we had a weekly segment called Friday Funnies where I'd ask the guys some interesting questions. One of them being if a hot dog was considered as a sandwich, a question that left the locker room and went viral all the way up to PTI, ESPN, and even the Victoria's Secret fashion show Snapchat story.
Is a hot dog classified as a sandwich?
No, it's definitely not a sandwich. It's a hot dog. It's not a sandwich.
Hot dog is not a sandwich. A hot dog is its own entity.